Yeah. What up? What's good? What's going on? What's good, everybody, man? What's happening with y'all? We are here, and this is something here that we're gonna be trying to do here for the next couple of weeks, leading into the big bout that's coming up on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, as you're going to have David Benavidez versus David Morrell Jr. for the WBC interim and the WBA regular light heavyweight titles. These two fighters here are undefeated. They are there at 29-0 with David Benavidez and David Morrell Jr. at 11-0. And this is a key bout here in the light heavyweight division. I've talked about this a couple of times on the Boxing Source podcast multiple times. And if y'all have been following me on the social media lines, we have been talking about this particular fight. They're on other channels as well. So this is something here that, as a fight fan, you definitely do not want to miss. That will be on Amazon Prime pay-per-view, and the fight card is going to be a great fight card as well. You're not only going to have David Benavidez versus David Morrell Jr., but you're also going to have it a co-feature bout, the rematch between Brandon Figueroa and Stephen Fulton, and the WBC featherweight title will be on the line in that particular bout. You're also going to have Isaac Cruz in a bout against Angel Fierro on there, and also having Jesus Ramos Jr. going up against former unified champion at 154 pounds, Jason Rosario. So those four fights on that card are going to be absolutely great here, for this February 1st card. Now, what I, been aiming to do, this has kind of been a couple of weeks in the process. So I wanted to go ahead and try this here, as we haven't really done this here on the Boxing Source, right? We haven't necessarily gone into a number of these fighters and seeing what they've been doing over the course of their careers, pretty much in detail, or trying to dissect what they have been doing, right? So what we want to do here on the Boxing Source is we want to go through select fights here for the main event fighters that will be featured on February 1st. You're going to have David Benavidez and you're going to have David Morrell Jr. Now, first off, we're going to have David Morrell Jr. here, and this bout is David Morrell Jr. versus Mike Gavronski. Now, the thing about it is that, I wanted to pick a few fights here for each of these fighters and kind of go into them and how, they'll be able to utilize their tools there for their upcoming bout on February 1st. Now, here with David Morrell Jr., this is a bout here against Mike Gavronski, where this was Morrell's fourth professional fight, going up against Mike Gavronski, who came in there with a record of 26 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. And this was at the Shrine Exposition Center in Los Angeles, and this was 2020. So, this was like a few months after they had the whole thing removed with the lockdown, because, from what it was like March 12th, March 13th of 2020, up until about August 2020 or so, you didn't have any fights, any sporting events, things going down or whatever it was. Particularly with boxing, it was, a definite occurrence where you couldn't necessarily have fights, and if you did, then it had to be done in a way to where either there were no fans or limited fans, or fans that were, in a good little distance from each other. But this one here with David Morrell Jr. against Mike Gavronski in Los Angeles, there in California at that time, you really didn't have sporting events where fans could be in attendance. And this was actually David Morrell Jr.'s second fight in Los Angeles in that year, as he had fought Lennox Allen to a decision win there, and almost got a clean sweep in that particular bout, right? But here against Mike Gavronski, he wanted to get himself a little bit more active there, particularly in the super middleweight division, right? And like I said, it didn't really take long here for him, because I think he already had the WA version of the super lightweight championship at that point. You know what I mean? So wanted to see if I could get into this particular fight here against Mike Gavronski. Some of y'all know about the result there, but we're wanting to get into it and see what's going on. Just real quick, if you're listening live here, you can go ahead and hit the like button to support the Boxing Source. We really appreciate it here on the Boxing Source, right? So, want to definitely go ahead and get this thing started. Like I said, this is through Fox. It was originally aired on Fox Sports, went through Premier Boxing Champions. So we're gonna see here if we could get this thing going, get this thing flowing, and everything like that. And just wanted to see if we could get it started. Hopefully, y'all are able to properly hear me at this particular juncture. So we're gonna try to get a few things going here with this, but wanted to get participation from those that wanted to talk about this and everything like that. So one before I really do that, wanted to get a few things happening or get a few things flowing here with this. So if you can go ahead and share this stream if you can, and spread the word. We really appreciate it here on the Boxing Source. So we want to definitely get this thing going because this fight coming up on February 1st is going to be a really intriguing bout, right? And you definitely do not want to miss what's going on when this fight takes place, right? So, with that being said, I want to see if we could go ahead and try this thing here to try to get the fight going and happening. We're gonna see here if we could do it here in this particular juncture. So this is like first pretty much like one of the first times we've done it. Actually, we did it like some time ago with another fight, but it didn't necessarily go down like I necessarily wanted it. So took a while for me to do more of a film study. So here we're gonna try this thing here again. Like I said, this is David Morrell Jr. versus Mike Gavronski. We're gonna have it with necessarily no audio because I'm gonna try to do live commentary, so to speak, when it comes to this particular fight, and then we're gonna try to go back to a couple of moments here in this fight if we can. So let's see if we could go through this and run this here real fast. Let's go. All right, so we got this thing. So you're gonna have David Morrell Jr. here, of course. They're getting their instructions there. David Morrell, Mike Gavronski, and all that type of stuff there. Like I said, over there in Los Angeles, you see their fans. Man, what type of fans was that, man? But you see, I said it was there, man. Like, come on, yo. Like I said, he was already WBA super middleweight champion there, and you see the odds minus 5,000 in favor of David Morrell Jr. here. While this thing is going on, while this is about to start and things like that. So we got, David Morrell Jr., of course, he came in there, at 6'1", having a slight height advantage and the reach advantage here against Mike Gavronski. Mike Gavronski there with the double jab that was coming in, but, you had Morrell there going in, and look at that, just going in immediately with the hooks and landing the hooks and the uppercut right there. So he's putting punches together. Like I said, he's there southpaw, landing the lefts to the body, right, and going to the body there very early while properly blocking the punches there from Mike Gavronski. Now they're there in in a clinch, and you see there in the clinch that he's able to kind of like handle himself. Throws another left and a left hook, right uppercut. There with his right hand, of course, like is his lead hand there with the right uppercut, right. So he's like tapping him with the right jab, tapping him right there, jab there. Pretty much like gauging the distance there and properly, look at that, properly landing the left uppercut and then coming back with a right hook. And another, there with a right uppercut while in close quarters. So he's putting these power punches together there. Now he's having a high guard there while Mike Gavronski is, throwing the 1-2 there, from the orthodox stance, right? So you can see there Morrell was able to properly land power shots, whether it's hooks to the body or hooks upstairs in the uppercut, right? So now here he is, properly gauging what's going on there with Mike Gavronski, tapping, throwing out the right hand, not really much emphasis there with the jab, but just, throwing the right hand out there. All right, rip it out already. All right, there it goes there with the right left hand combination, and then does a little dancing around there, just kind of like avoid the clinch, right? All right, so there he goes again with the right hand, like I said, lead hand there, and tapping him again with the left. You know, pretty pretty accurate there, at least early in this bout against Mike Gavronski. He's able to handle a couple of shots to the body there from Gavronski and respond. There he is there with the lead left and comes back with a right uppercut. So you see there, he's able to properly put punches together and get those things to land properly. And see there he had Gavronski in trouble early there, with less than a minute to go, right? So you got that's going on there. Now here he is going into 30 seconds left in the bout, throwing a jab, then coming back with the number of punches, hooks, uppercuts. The uppercut kind of staggered Gavronski there at that point, forcing him to clinch. You see there Morrell trying to get himself away from the clinch. Yeah, he approaches him there and then goes ahead and tries to land those shots. And look at that. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Hold on. Let me see if we can go back right there real quick. We're going to go back there real quick. He had someone chopping it up. KT, what's going on, man? Right there, had Morrell for upset. Yeah, so, that's the thing here, man. I'm going to try to see if we could break down as many of these fights, previous fights as possible to kind of like get people an idea of what both of these fighters have been doing in the past leading into this upcoming bout that's happening February 1st. And, the thing there with David Morrell Jr., like I was saying, on February 1st, this will be his 12th professional bout. But you've seen here, this is fight number 4 in his professional career against Mike Gavronski, and he was already the WBA regular champion in the super middleweight division. Like you talk about in boxing, a number of these fighters that have been able to get opportunities to either have a minor version of a title or a version of a world title within their second, third, or fourth professional fight. David Morrell Jr. is one of those guys, right? So he is able to execute that, in his previous bout, the bout before this against Lennox Allen. I think that was when he was able to win the WBA super middleweight championship at that point. And you see there, he is shown as a champion, right? And that is his 4th professional fight against Mike Gavronski. You know what I mean? So here's the thing here. So we're gonna go back to, like I said, what was going on here to lead to this knockdown that happened in the first round on Mike Gavronski. I was talking about all the opportunities that David Morrell Jr. had to land power shots. He was able to land hooks very early against Mike Gavronski, did some work to the body, but also was very key in landing the uppercuts. And, as I was mentioning there, in a couple minutes or minute that was left here in this first round, David Morrell Jr. was able to land an uppercut that, really stunned Mike Gavronski in this point. But let's go back to this here where David Morrell was able to score the knockdown. So let's see if we can run this here real quick. So you got, David Morrell getting off the clinch and watch. 1, 2, 3. Bam, boom, boom. Like came off of that hook, left, right, left. So he was able to land that left, right, left. Good 3-punch combination there from David Morrell Jr. to put down Mike Gavronski. Mike Gavronski gets up there. There's only like a few seconds left, and that is the end of the first round. You see if we can get some props there from Mike Gavronski, but you don't even, you're really getting that right there. So that's what happened there in the first round. Okay, they talk about this corner cam. Shout out to Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports there, Premier Boxing Champions. That's who was able to hold this fight at this particular point there in 2020. That was December 26, 2020. And like I was mentioning before, you still had the whole thing that was going on with the lockdown and all that type of stuff. So a number of these events were held with no fans or anything like that. You see the trainers there, the masks and all that type of stuff. Look at Mike Gavronski, man. He's looking like he's thinking about if he wants to go out there for the second round and watch this, man. Coming off one, look at them uppercuts, boom, and then look at that, right? So he's laying uppercuts and the hooks there. And you see, look at the precision there with the uppercuts, right uppercuts there from David Morrell Jr. Remember, that is his lead hand is the right. He is a southpaw. Now watch this. I think this is a knockdown. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Left, right, left. Puts Gavronski down. All right, we get into round 2. All right, you see the jab there from Mike Gavronski, but look at what David Morrell Jr. is doing. He's responding there with the jabs. All right, so looking like he tried to lay in here with the counter while Gavronski was going in. But see, look at that. Number more power shots landing. And see how he's incorporating the uppercut in the combinations that he's having there. So it's almost like he's actually starting with the left hook, right uppercut, and following through with the left hook. Now remember, David Morrell Jr. is a southpaw here. So you see these mix of punches, right? A lot of these power punches, he's going in there with, throwing the right uppercut, right? And starting with the left. But he's able to mix it up. You've seen the right uppercut and the left uppercut right there real quick. Yeah. All right. KT here got a question. You think many are criticizing Morrell for his hot rod performance, not taking into account that Benavidez had a hard time as well? Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I really want to do a film study there with those two fights as well, because those are the debuts of both fighters in the light heavyweight division there. But you see there, look at what David Morrell's doing right here. He's like confident in what he's doing. He's coming forward. He's not really thinking that much about what Mike Gavronski is throwing. He was able to block a couple of shots there from Mike Gavronski right there. And like just gauging the distance, putting his guard up, throwing the jab. You know what I mean? So there you go. All right, good. Look at that. Good combination there as a response to what Mike Gavronski was doing. Pretty much stunned Gavronski there at that point. And you see the work. He's getting through the guard of Mike Gavronski, going around the guard of Mike Gavronski there with the hooks there with the right hand and the left hand as well. And you see there Mike Gavronski trying to get to David Morrell with the hooks of his own, and he wasn't necessarily able to do it. Now, here we go. We got more from David Morrell Jr. here. Like I said, once again, shout out to Premier Boxing Champions here that's who was putting this thing here together. Now, all right, you see Morrell getting loose there a little bit. All right, there in the clinch, you don't see Gavronski trying to throw a little tap out there. Didn't necessarily work right. All right, so all right, here we go. 30, pretty much going on 30 seconds left, and you see the combination. See, that's what I'm talking about. Hook, uppercut, hook. There from David Morrell Jr., right? Lead uppercut. You see that? Lead uppercut right there from David Morrell Jr. Lead left uppercut, man. So he was focusing on what was going on there as far as like the guard there from Mike Gavronski, and he pretty much noticed right off the bat that with the guard, he pretty much has the opportunity to land the uppercut once he's able to get in the proper range. All right, so good, good scrapping there before the end of the second round. You know what I mean? So there you go. All right, so here we are. This is in between round 2 and round 3, and I'll go into a little bit more on that part, that question that you had there, KT, in a bit. But you see here with look at the combinations there. So. And he's incorporating the uppercut as part of the combinations and which is what is a good part here from David Morrell Jr. But it was like I was saying there. Look, he got stunned there from that hook from David Morrell. But he's able to incorporate those uppercuts, given what the guard is from Mike Gavronski at this point, because he has a guard like this. If you see me there in the corner, and in that bottom section, if you're able to get into range, you got the opportunity to land the uppercut. You could also, he's done the thing there where he's able to reach around with the hook there, David Morrell, but he also focused on landing the uppercut. All right, here we go. Round 3. All right, round 3. So, yeah, throws. Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, that's the thing I wanted to talk about with David Benavidez here later on, but I gotta talk about, if I'm able to, with the Gavronski fight. All right. So here we go. Round 3. All right, so round 3, you got David Morrell Jr. With the lead left there, and then 1-1-2, 1-2, right? Blocking the jab. Gavronski's trying to get in there with the jab and try to get within range, because remember, here, Morrell is a taller fighter and has some range, so Gavronski had to figure out a way to try to get inside with his offense, and didn't necessarily do that. You've seen the sake of ahead there for David Morrell. Another lead left from David Morrell there. He's looking at him, trying to gauge what's going on. Throws a jab, doing it, pulling the right hand. So he's, giving Mike Gavronski, there's something to think about in this one. All right, so here he goes. And he goes with the 1-2, attempted the 1-2 there with the right and the left. A little bit of a exchange there. And see, there it goes, a response. Look at that. Look at that right there. Oh, man. See. Hey, that. Oh, man. I might go back to that part here. I might go back to that part, right? All right, so here we go there. You got less than 2 minutes left here in the third round. All right, got in the clinch there. Okay, breaking it up there. It's Jack Reese there, one of my panelists' favorite referees. And look at that, getting through the guard there and whatnot. So, all right, another uppercut, then going through the hooks. And then he's starting to go on the attack. And so hooks has like really done some damage there to Mike Gavronski. And you see there, yeah, he does have a high guard himself there. David Morrell, right? But I think he's gonna, mix it around there a little bit. You've seen a little bit of head movement there also from David Morrell. All right, there. Come on, Jack Reese, get out of the way. Shout out to the cameraman. All right. Yeah, all right. So a couple of 1-2s there. You see Mike Gavronski there, grasping for the clinch. All right. So we got David Morrell Jr. there. He's got like a little bit of a shell thing going on and whatnot with that guard, and mixing up the jabs, then coming back with the left, lead left, right left. You know what I mean? So that's the thing about it. All right. Here we go. We're going on about 37, 36 seconds left. All right. And he got the thing there. He's almost doing the shoulder roll too. He did the shoulder roll there and that thing. So you see like a high guard, and then he was able to come off of that into throwing punches himself there, whether it's with the right or the left hand. All right, so now it looks like he's swinging with him, trying to get through the guard. Look at that, another uppercut there, and they stopped the bout, man. They just said, you know what, man, that's just too much punishment there. Too much punishment there from David Morrell Jr. to Mike Gavronski. I'm going to see here if I could go back to, let me see. All right, I think it's about a minute left, man. I wanted to see, y'all want to go back to, probably go to around the start of this round, right? Because y'all wanted to talk about, his responses to punches from his opponents. Once again, this is in a thing there with Mike Gavronski where he has like those punches going, but with David Morrell Jr. having that height advantage, having the reach advantage, he's able to do it at 1-2-1, basically, to respond to what here Mike Gavronski was doing. So let me see here. We were going to go through this thing here with round 3 once again. You see the movement there. Let me see here. He got it. All right. So, tapping the jab, and then here we go. This should be it right here, I think. All right, let me see. Probably not. All right, but see here, he's doing that, the right hand, and then coming back with the left, and then all right, here we go. Where 1, there, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And look at that. Like I said, yeah, beautiful counters right there, and again, putting in the uppercut because a number of times here with a lot of these fights and a lot of these fighters, they don't really utilize the uppercut that much. They really don't utilize the uppercut that much in what they do. So my thing about it is like, shout out to David Morrell to incorporate the uppercut there in his arsenal, because he really utilized it here in this particular fight against Mike Gavronski. You know what I mean? So shout out to him on doing that. Now, he also, kind of changed things up here in this particular round, because initially he was, approaching him, and you see there he has a high guard, right? And then throwing the jabs. But he has a high guard too. But if you have that guard and you're able to be, like I said, have those advantages, reach and all that type of stuff, you could, as I say, get away with the number of things there with that, because, as you mentioned there, KT, when you talk about the high guard with Benavidez, well, you see there with a high guard of Mike Gavronski, that with David Morrell's reach, he's able to use a jab, hook around that guard, or come back with the uppercut around that guard himself, right? Now he's, doing a style there. Let me see if I could, pause this here real quick, because it's about to, go to the point there where, shout out to Jack Reese once again, some folks' favorite referee, and y'all know why he's that. But he is able to go, David Morrell was able to go from a high guard up into like a little bit of a, like a shell type thing, right? But it's one thing to, have that type of defense to be able to switch up from like a high guard or blocking or moving your head, and then also, utilizing almost like a shell type of defensive stance, right? But it's another thing to go from either the high guard or the shell defensive stance and be able to respond and throw the punches off of those, defensive stances. Because it's very important to be able to have a flow to where you could go from defense or offense without much problems. Like you don't necessarily have to reset before you get into your offensive stance. Now with David Morrell Jr., at least in this particular bout here against Mike Gavronski, in the first and second rounds, he would kind of like approach him like this, right? But be able to throw the right jab, or paw the jab, come back with the left, and then kind of like free flow. And that's what he was doing here in this bout against Mike Gavronski. He was able to, properly utilize the combinations, 1-2s, 1-2-3s, whether it was from an offensive perspective or a counter-punching perspective here in this bout against Mike Gavronski. And, that is one of the elements here that is going to be key in his upcoming bout against David Benavidez, particularly with David Benavidez being noted as one of the most active fighters when it comes to offense. There, when he was in the super middleweight division as the WBC super middleweight champion, and here now in the light heavyweight division. So we got to see how that particularly goes on there. But we're gonna go through just this little few more seconds here, as like I said, shout out Jack Reese, and you see that boom, and then here it goes, a boom, and then boom, and then another boom, and then to the body, into the uppercut, and then that uppercut is pretty much did it, man. And Jack Reese said, "Nah, man, that's it. You can't be taking any more uppercuts, dog. That's just it, man. It's a wrap, cause it's a wrap." So that's the thing, man. Shout out to MMA and boxing addicts in the building, man. Right now, Team Benavidez. All right, so also we wanted to see here. I mean, just gone through this fight here. Like I said, it went through 3 rounds. It was just 3 rounds there for David Morrell Jr. to take down Mike Gavronski to get his 4th professional win in his career. And as you kind of like seen there, he had the C next to David Morrell, as at that time he was the WBA world champion. Yes, there was a super champion in Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan, right? I think he was the WBA champion at the time, but I have to kind of like verify that or whatnot. But still, with David Morrell Jr. there in his 4th professional bout, he really didn't have that much issues there with Mike Gavronski in this particular bout. So we had that, and the thing, and we're going to be going through a little bit more here when it comes to David Morrell Jr. and also David Benavidez. So that was pretty much what I wanted to do there. This is just a quick thing here for the film study. First, it was David Morrell Jr. versus Mike Gavronski. I mean, it was pretty short, so I wanted to just go ahead and get that. Shout out to KT there. He says the size advantage isn't there for Benavidez this time either. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. He doesn't have, the height there that he had against the majority of his opponents, right? Not necessarily. I mean, he's there at around 6'2", listed at 6'2", there, and having the reach of 74 and a half. But you have David Morrell Jr. here with a reach of 78 and a half. And he has a movement as well, too. So it's going, like I said, it's going to be a great matchup here coming up on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So definitely looking forward to seeing this. Like I said, it's about a few weeks out, and we're going to have more going into this particular matchup. Like I said, I wanted to get this here done first. David Morrell Jr. versus Mike Gavronski. I'm going to have at least another fight of David Morrell Jr. that I wanted to see if we could kind of like go through, and then a couple fights for David Benavidez and a couple of previous fights that he's had in his professional career. And we're going to just break these down here leading up to their bout on February 1st. So, I mean, this is just a real quick thing here. Big thanks for everyone that's listening live here on this particular instance. If you can, whether you're on Rumble or on YouTube, you can hit the share button in reference to this, because we're gonna, start to do more of these film studies here. You know what I mean? So we gotta break down a number of these fighters and seeing what they've been doing and kind of like go through that. So, you know what though? Since I usually have the podcast, on Sundays and have the midweek report on Wednesdays, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to have film studies on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to see if I can do that. Film studies on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? So I guess for Thursday, if I got the time for it, I'm going to do the film study there for David Benavidez. And I'm going to see here how I'm going to schedule it. Might be around this time, might be a little bit later on in the day. But we're going to have film study there for David Benavidez scheduled for Thursday, January 9th. And speaking of David Benavidez, I think they just announced that David Benavidez, they're going to, have a workout. Okay. All right. So you know what? They're going to have a media workout in Las Vegas on Thursday, and it's scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific time, right? All right, cool. So that being said, they got, it looks like, scheduled around 4 o'clock or something that David Benavidez is going to have his media workout. So that's going to happen around 4 o'clock Eastern time. So with that being said, I'll schedule the David Benavidez film study to be around 7 p.m. Eastern time, around 4 p.m. Pacific time. So you'll be able to see what's going down with David Benavidez. They're also going to have Brandon Figueroa Jr. on there, the Heartbreaker, not the Heartbreak Kid, the Heartbreaker, Brandon Figueroa, right? And they're also going to have Jason Rosario, right? So they're going to have that media workout there. And I think it's going to be live, on the PBC channel or whatever it is, so you can check it out, right? And then after that, we're going to have film study featuring David Benavidez. So that's how we're going to do it, all right? Shout out to Hannibal there on the thing there. Salute to you, man. What's going on with you and everything like that. So with that being said, that's what we got here for the film study. That was, really quick. And like I said, we'll be back at it on Thursday with the film study of David Benavidez. And, we got something here planned for the midweek report on Wednesday, because I want to see if I could verify something here real fast. So Wednesday, you're going to have the bout between Jai Opetaia and David Nyika, or Naika, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's right. But that's going to be happening tomorrow. Jai Opetaia defending his cruiserweight title there. So we're going to have the midweek report on Wednesday. We're going to have film study on Thursday. And like I said, we got the Boxing Source podcast scheduled for Sunday. So if you hit the subscribe button here for the Boxing Source, whether on Rumble or on YouTube, you'll be able to see the Boxing Source podcast. But until next time, folks, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.